Well, it looks like we got a small reprieve, at least from having to move in to the van down by the river.
Yeah, you saved us. I should have taken that football pick, though.
Yeah, that was a sterling display of offense right there, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it. If that's what the NFL season looks like, oh, my Lord, that's going to be some great Sunday watching there.
No, it will never turn out like that. Preseason's just preseason. Though I will say it's Friday, and I'll tell you one guy who's happier than all of us, and that's Josh Allen. Just signed 6 years, $258 million with $150 million guaranteed.
To be 6'4" and be able to throw a football like a rocket, it just makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, and I mean like I said, I'm all over the Bills this year. I think he's great. He deserves the money, and it's just going to be one after another after that. He topped that, and he went over Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson and them will go over him.
That's amazing. I wish I had won the genetic lottery too. But apparently I am 5'9", and I got I have the Woody Harrelson can't jump disease. It's just terrible. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I can play basketball and I can shoot, and I love playing basketball. I dribble a little bit. I couldn't jump for anything.
I reject you. Come on. Get that out of here. Get that bleep out of here. I got playing soccer one time, my son on the team. I told him, hey, he's going to try to turn on you. So the guy turned. I knew exactly what he was going to do. So I knew he was going to turn. So I went and cut him off, and I kicked the ball. And as I kicked the ball, I just, it's a pretty common thing. Like when you're playing basketball, if you block a shot, you tell him, get that bleep out of here. And I told the guy, get that bleep out of here. And he got pretty upset with me. Apparently it's not a term of endearment on soccer like it is in basketball.
No, not at all.
No, it didn't go over very well, unfortunately. But yesterday, looked like the pitching for earlier in the week, I had for the love of God, throw strikes. And then yesterday, watching the Cardinals come back, the Atlanta come back against the Cardinals because the pitcher, for the love of God, couldn't throw strikes. He was throwing ball after. I think he walked like 4 straight guys on something like 16 pitches. It was terrible, but it was great at the same time because I had Atlanta.
That brings back the days of, Little League and stuff when you're just standing in the outfield and it's just ball after ball after ball and you're out there for a half hour and nothing's going on at all.
Now you're just making those chants, right? Instead of chanting at the other team's pitcher, you're chanting at your own.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I remember those days playing catcher and my pitcher couldn't throw strikes and you're just like, come on, dude, trying to frame it. That was a strike. I'm trying to get him one call to get his confidence up.
Yeah, help me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That one didn't miss by much. It was only 6 inches off. That was Bob Uecker just a little bit outside.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, well, let's see if we can stay on the winning track today, Sean. I got to get back above water. I think I'm a few bucks down, and hopefully, when I was going through the schedule today and going through my normal routine, I was getting a lot of games that I was bolding as possible plays. And then as I started to dig in a little bit deeper, instead of having a buffet of plays, I'm only down to 2. I had like 6 that I targeted. So there are a lot of strong leans today, and I'll talk about some of those strong leans as we move through. But only 2 games that I am sold on today. So let's get cracking with the schedule today. We'll start. Well, the Cubs and the White Sox are playing right now. The Cubs always lose to the White Sox. Even when the White Sox stink and the Cubs are good, Cubs lose to the White Sox. So they're losing right now. That doesn't surprise me. They'll probably get swept this series because they're a AAA team against the White Sox. Although the White Sox, I think, have lost 9 of 14. First game up is the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Marcus Stroman has been struggling. Phillies are minus 114. You can get a plus line with the Mets on the road in your town.
Yeah, so Kyle Gibson pitched really good his first start too. So I think Kyle Gibson here, Stroman's been struggling. That's a real fair price for Philly. I'm going to start right out of the gate and go with Philly here.
You're going to jump on the Philly bandwagon, huh?
Yeah, I'm Kyle
You'd have bet your home team. I think maybe you got smacked around at home by Hillary for not taking the Phillies.
She hasn't been home the last couple of days. So
no wonder I couldn't get a hold of you late last night.
Yeah, okay. So I'm actually the opposite. Usually I do have some time and dive into the numbers, and this these matchups today, I saw 3 or 4 that just jumped right off the page to me without even having to research that I really liked. Now, that doesn't mean anything all the time because I've been on here before and said I really like something and it hasn't come in, but we are changing waves today. We're changing it. We're changing the tide.
Oh, speaking it into the universe now. I like to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta go the other way here.
So you're on the Philadelphia Phillies today. For me, looking at this spot, I was not on the Phillies. It was one that I kind of looked at, but the New York Mets have some advantages in this game. The Phillies do have the power ranking advantage. They do have the run line advantage. But when I looked at the game, they're giving me just a little bit of a discount on Philadelphia a couple ways, which makes me a little bit nervous. I don't like to get a small discount. I like to get just to pay a little tiny premium. And when I found when you pay a little tiny premium, not a big premium, but a tiny premium for a team, I found that to be the sweet zone where they win. So when they're kind of trying to entice me to take the Phillies, it makes me a little bit nervous. I'm going to lean the Philadelphia Phillies in that spot. So I'm going to give you a little bit of moral support. And then looking at the public and the way the public is going, the public they're giving you support as well because more than 60% of the public is on the Phillies and a little bit more than 60 cents on every dollar is also backing your home team. So I think you're probably on the right side of that one.
Yeah, let's hope. You never know. You want the public support, but then the same thing, like Bill Krackomberger said, you want Vegas' side. So the Vegas side here would be the Mets. So,
well, the Vegas side looks like it's actually the Mets on Vegas right here. Because,
that's what I'm saying.
Because you're paying a little bit of you're getting a little discount on the Philadelphia Phillies. Yep. So you're paying a little bit of a premium.
So I'm against Vegas, and that's the scary part.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't win them all. Tampa Bay and the the Baltimore Orioles. You got John Means on the mound, lefty versus lefty. Means has kind of been struggling. Maybe he gets it back together here, or maybe not.
So the line that jumped out here, and I'm going to go with this one too, and I know you love the over-under, but the line that jumped out here is the under 9.5. I don't think either offense is all that great, and with John Means pitching, I know he struggled a little bit, but he's still been really decent. Baltimore's offense ain't going to light up Yarborough. 9.5 a high number for this. I'm going under 9.5.
You're going to go under 9.5. Yeah, I can't do totals. Yesterday, I was pretty bullish on the Minnesota-Houston total, and then you could see what happened there. The game actually went under, so I stayed away from that game. I'm not really a big fan of going against Means here at home. I'm not a big fan of Tampa Bay on the road here, although I do suspect Tampa Bay will probably win this game. Looking at the numbers, it looks like the fans believe, and the bettors, the sharps, the masses, they all are backing Tampa Bay. Tampa's getting a little more than 60% of the tickets and a little bit more than 75 cents on the dollar for every dollar bet. So looks like you're on you're taking a Tampa Bay. Oh, you're going to go with the total here, the under, right?
Under 9.5. Yep.
All right, so let's take a look and see how that's the total's playing out here real quick. Give me a second. So in that game, it looks like the majority of the people are on the let's see. Yeah, big. 90 cents out of every dollar is on the under. So you're playing with it looks like with the house, and you're playing with the so-called smart money. We'll see if it works out that way. Seattle and the New York Yankees, another lefty versus lefty matchup. The Yankees were kind of a little bit behind yesterday. I was cursing myself for a while in my parlay because every time I go against Seattle, they seemingly win. They're one of my nemesis for whatever reason, maybe. I don't know. But I can't seem to get that team squared away under any situation. The Yankees are borderline for me on a couple of ways at minus 167. I kind of like the Yankees in this spot. What about you, Sean?
I don't like it either way, but I would take the value of Seattle with the plus 150. We've talked about this. Seattle, you get value. They've been pretty decent at it. The Yankees are starting to turn it around a little bit offensively, though. That's why I didn't jump all over this. I'm going to leave it pass. I will say that parlay yesterday that you're talking about too. I can't tell you how many times I put 3 or 4 favorites together and it never works out. So I was glad
it was me putting them together though. That's the difference.
Well, maybe I'll have to send you the money PayPal and you could bet it for me.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. I can't charge a fee, at least not on TV. Anyway, looking at this game, the line is fortunately moved to my minimum threshold, and that's minus 167 on the Yankees. So I'm actually going to take the Yankees here because I am getting a huge, I would say, a pretty sizable pitching advantage with Peralta versus Gonzalez. When you look at the advanced metrics, there's more than a 200 player ranking difference. And then Peralta at home is pitched better than he's pitched on the road. And Gonzalez has really kind of struggled both on the road and against the New York Yankees. Both teams are pretty solid against lefties. But as you mentioned, the Yankees are starting to roll. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. And the Yankees have a little bit better bullpen. Both teams kind of struggle to score, but the Yankees, I think, have started to correct that a little bit. So I'm on the Yankees. They're getting hot. It's a perfect number for me, and I'm getting the advanced I'm getting the much better pitcher in terms of advanced metrics. So you can put me down for the Yankees minus 167. And if it had not moved to minus 167, I was thinking about the money line, which is I think like plus 105, plus 110, plus 115, somewhere in there. Yeah. So, but I don't need to do it. So I'm on the Yankees. You might want to put that in your parlay, Sean. Boston and Toronto, another game that I had highlighted as one, as I mentioned, that you could put in your as a potential play, one of the many that I had, because Toronto has a very sizable power ranking advantage when you look at home and away teams. They have a significant run differential, again, home versus away. They're projected to win this game about 56% of the time. You're paying about 60 cents to do it. So you're paying a little bit of a premium on Toronto here, which is like what I said, what I like to do. But then when I went through the pitching matchups and so forth, I kind of backed away from this game.
Yeah, I agree with you on all this. I was looking at Toronto, but then I saw minus 150, and I was like, there's got to be other places to go to get that kind of price. I just couldn't trust it. And I don't want to give up a run and a half here. So it's not a game I'm playing.
No, that's understandable. And it looks like the public is a little bit undecided on the game as well. The tickets are split down the middle, 50-50, with the Blue Jays getting a little bit of the advantage in terms of actual dollars, but not a big enough difference to say that the Sharps are hammering Toronto because they're getting such great value at minus 150. The Pittsburgh Pirates are traveling to the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati absolutely got off to a hot start, smoking them 7-0. Their starter left, and that just wonderful bullpen came in and made the game kind of scary for me in my parlay.
That's about the same old story for the Reds. I mean, you just need to score and hold on.
Like a front runner, baby.
Yeah, the price is too steep to take the Reds on the money line, and you can get a plus line for the giving up a run and a half, but I just don't trust the Reds for that bullpen issue. I don't want to do it. Even in the division game and stuff, I'm not touching it.
All right. Here's my second one. I told you I had two plays. This is it. So I'm kind of foreshadowing the rest of my day. But minus 1.5 for the Reds is plus 100. So I'm not violating my negative run line. So that's actually what I got in my DraftKings account. DraftKings, if you're listening, sponsorships are always nice. There's other ways to keep the lights on. When you look at this game, Pittsburgh is 7-20 versus left-handed pitching. And then on the road, they're 18-38. So they're well underwater against lefties, well underwater against home. Cincinnati's, one game over 500, and I'm playing great at home. But they've knocked the living hell out of teams that are under 500, 38-23. So 15 games above 500 against less than quality squads. Whereas Pittsburgh has really struggled with teams that are over 500, 22-37. And then again, I have a major pitching advantage here. Wade Miley is much better than Brubaker when you look at the advanced metrics. I have about 117 position ranking differential between the two, with Miley being my favorite. So I'm getting also the number 2 team in terms of runs scored at home versus the number 29 team versus runs scored on the road. I'm getting the better starting pitcher. I'm getting the team that beats the heck out of teams with a losing record against a team that can't hit lefties with a lefty on the mound. If I had a check mark boxes, they would all check off. The only thing I'm worried about here is that Cincinnati bullpen. So I am taking the Reds, laying 1.5 runs, and I'm getting that a minimum plus line of plus 100. And apparently I went into quiet mode. Are you with me, Sean? It looks like Sean may have froze up on us a little bit there. So we'll move on to the next game. Hopefully Sean comes back. He has kind of a it's a little Frankenstein look to him right there. Let's go ahead to Detroit and Cleveland. Right now, Cleveland has looking at this line to me, Cleveland was another team that I was considering. They have the run line differential. They have the power ranking differential. But again, when I looked at the pitching matchup, it was one that was a little too close for me, a little too close to my liking. So I went ahead and passed on this game. But looking at hopefully Sean comes back, but looking at the money right now, Cleveland is taking in about 50% of the bets, but collecting about 64 cents on every dollar in the bets. So the sharps are taking Cleveland. I wanted to take Cleveland. They're one of the teams that were pretty close to me. So Sean says that his power went out, so everything is resetting, and he'll join when it's back up. Probably I will be, hopefully I might be done by then. It's kind of funny trying to host a show by yourself. Kind of weird in a way. But in any case, I did not like the matchup there in terms of Quantrell versus Manning. A little bit too close for my liking. And then, of course, both teams kind of struggle a little bit in producing runs. Next on the board is Washington, Atlanta. As I mentioned last night, I got kind of lucky with the Atlanta squad, with the St. Louis pitchers giving up all of those walks. In this particular game, I feel like minus 190 is a little too steep of a price to pay for Atlanta. The folks at Washington have done okay against left-handed pitching. And then when I look at the power rankings in Vegas and all the things that they're trying to influence me on, Atlanta does have the advantage. They're the better team at home than Washington is on the road. They score substantially more runs at home than Washington is capable of on the road. But Vegas is making you pay a huge premium on the Atlanta Braves. So to me, minus 190 is too steep of a price to pay here. Not because I don't think Atlanta is going to win. Atlanta does probably win. But statistically over time, if you take a bunch of games where you're overpaying, that is, I think, a prescription to lose money. I don't think it's going to generate a positive ROI for you. However, the betting public disagrees with me because nearly 80% of the tickets are on Atlanta and 83% of the dollars are on the Braves as well. So the public's backing the Braves, the money's backing the Braves, the numbers back the Braves. But what doesn't back the Braves, in my view, is that the Braves are too much of a premium to pay at minus 190. Next up on our list is San Francisco versus Milwaukee. And here you have a really tremendous pitching matchup between Webb and Burns. Burns, I think, is like the sixth rated pitcher when you look at those advanced metrics. And Webb is around the probably mid 150s. So Milwaukee has a major pitching advantage here, in my view. And you're paying, right now, Milwaukee is minus 146, 144. Sean looks like he's about to return. Sean, you okay?
I swear to you, I paid the electric bill and it's not that bad. And went out and came right back on, and I lost everything. So I had to wait for the internet to reload.
Well, that was because it's speed of light, and you spoke your new thing into the universe. It took that long to come back around the universe back to you.
Did you see the lights go off, and then it was down?
I didn't see anything. I came back, and you looked like Frankenstein. You're like, and that was it. So then I was talking, and I was wondering, man, come on, I'm not hearing anything from Sean. And just a little bit behind the scenes inside baseball, to use a poor metaphor and clique here, but when you look, or pun, when you look at when I'm talking and I'm looking at other stuff, I'm not actually looking at the hosting device, which we use as StreamYard. I'm looking at other screens. So when I'm talking, I don't see anything. I don't see you. I don't see if people are leaving comments. I'm actually on other screens looking at some data. So I have actually fast forwarded all the way to Minnesota and Houston. Do you want to back up? Did you have anything in the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game?
No, I did not. Detroit, Cleveland?
Yes, I passed on that game, but you like something there?
Yeah, I like Cleveland. You get Detroit on the road and Matt Manning. Cottrell's definitely a better pitcher. I'm taking Cleveland. I got minus 140 here.
Well, minus 132 is the best line shopping line that I can get for you. So Go ahead and you can book yourself for Cleveland.
Yeah, and then
the next game was Washington, Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't have much on that. You know how I try to avoid the Braves.
Mm-hmm. And you should avoid
Washington at this point too. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are two avoids. Two avoids makes, I don't know, like, the two negatives make a positive. The two avoids make a bet, or I don't know what that does. San Francisco and Milwaukee. I was on that game. This is where I was right now, mentioning that this might be one of the better pitching matchups of the night. Corbin Burns is one of the top pitchers in baseball. And then you have Webb, who is a very solid pitcher as well for San Francisco. I had San Francisco highlighted in this game at plus 130. I'm not alone, it looks like, because more than 60% of the tickets are on San Francisco and almost 80 cents on the dollar. It's one of the biggest discrepancies on the night. A lot of the smart money is pounding the Giants. When I look at the run line differential, when I look at the power ranking differential, they absolutely have the edge. I can't take that edge because no matter how great that edge is, if Corbin Burns is on, this game is going to be one that Milwaukee can win.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch this game at all. I mean, if anything, Milwaukee, but then you're just doing it on the starting pitching. And I mean, Milwaukee's got a good bullpen too, but the line's so heavy because of Burns pitching. So, but I couldn't go San Fran.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the only bet you can make. And then what you have to hope for is that the game gets into the bullpens and then San Francisco's better offense can take over against Milwaukee. But the bullpens are pretty solid too. So, I mean, I don't know, whenever you think, wow, this great pitching matchup, let's go the under because the game's going to be 1-0 in the ninth inning. It's probably going to be like 15-14 by the middle of the fifth inning or something.
And Milwaukee Stadium is a big time hitter's park too. So under 8's, scary there.
Yeah, I'm not taking that game. I'd like to go see it, but maybe I should check with Tom if he's got tickets. Minnesota, can they steal 2 in a row from Houston? Are you going to bet the over again, Sean?
No, I'm not betting the over here. I don't know how many runs Minnesota is going to score against Greinke, so I'm not touching that.
Depends on what Greinke you get, I guess.
Yeah, but if you take, I take the over, you'll get the real good Greinke, and there's better places to go if you want to get an over than here. Even though Minnesota is number 1 in the league, but they were number 1 in the league, and I had them yesterday, and need 9 and you get 8.
Yeah, the only play here is I think Houston in the run line minus 200 is too big of a price to pay. Even at minus 200, I mean that's a huge premium that Vegas is asking you to pay. They're trying to track some money. They're giving you a little bit of a discount on the Minnesota squad. It's probably a ton of the money is lining up on the Astros here, expecting that there's no way in a row they're going to lose 2 in a row to the Twins. 75% of the tickets, 75% of the money. Backing Houston at home. I think Houston wins this game. This might be one of those minus 200 parlay teams since they failed to do that last night. They might actually be a better bet that respect today. But I don't have any $200 parlays today because minus $200 parlays because I have 2 picks. Kansas City and St. Louis. Can St. Louis coax a ton of walks out of the Kansas City Minor pitcher? And you got a good advantage here with Wainwright over Minor. And St. Louis hasn't been all that bad. I think they're 11-11 versus lefties. This was a game I had targeted, but I feel like I got lucky with St. Louis last night, and I don't want to kind of go back to the luck factor to win another one. So I collected a little money from St. Louis last night. I'm gonna see if I can wait a day or two before I try to press my luck.
Yeah, and Kansas City hasn't been bad the last couple of weeks, stealing some of these victories. I mean, most of them have been against the White Sox, so it's division game, so it's different. But and you mentioned St. Louis versus lefties. They just lost back-to-back versus the Braves, though, versus lefties, too. So they're not exactly lighting lefties up right now. This is a stay away from me.
Well, I don't know that it was the starting pitcher that got him because they were actually ahead against the left-handed pitcher.
Right.
It's when their relief pitcher come in and he forgot the basics of baseball, throw strikes. And it didn't look like he was missing by much. Like I was watching a little bit on the YouTube and on the MLB app, ESPN, of like where the pitches were, and it looked like he was just missing. So I imagine he's probably getting frustrated with the umpire too. A lot of the pitches I would imagine that he thought were strikes, and the more frustrated he became, the more difficult it became. And maybe there was a little chirping with the umpire, and when you're chirping with the umpire, that strike zone probably squeezes a little bit. It's
oh yeah, absolutely.
I was thankful for it though, so I'm all for it. I'll take it when you finally win one like that. Miami Marlins versus Colorado. You got Marquez on the mounds versus Alcantara. This is a great pitching matchup. I mean, you got Colorado, who, like I mentioned before, doesn't really catch too many teams with a losing record at home. They're catching one in Miami. They tend to beat the losing teams at home. The problem is Alcantara, as good as Marquez has been far superior.
Yeah, so Colorado did lose 2 to the Cubs, though. And
to a AAA team.
Yeah, and I have 4 picks tonight, and I already have 3. So I have one more coming. You should know where I'm going here.
You're going to take the Marlins?
No.
You're going to take Colorado, or you're going to go over? You're going to go under?
I'm going to go under. The good pitching matchup, 9.5 at Coors Field. Like I said, Coors Field has not been lightening up too much.
I hear they're using the non-humidor balls tonight.
Yeah. I really like this pitching matchup. Marquez at home is really good, too. Alcantara, like you said, has been really good. Miami's offense ain't all that great. Colorado's offense has started to pick it up, but also they're playing teams like your Cubs. So
they lost to the Cubs.
Yeah. So I think under 9.5 is a very good play here.
Albeit one of them was on a catch that wasn't a catch. So maybe they may have won that game if a catch was a catch, but it wasn't a catch. Yeah, I looking at this game, the Rockies are taking in all of the money, 86% of the 86 cents on the dollar. But the tickets are more close to 50-50. So the smart money is heavily backing
this line,
Colorado in this spot.
This line really moved this morning. It I think was at like minus 140, minus 145 on DraftKings. Now I'm seeing minus 170 at DraftKings. So this line has really moved since this morning.
Yeah, it opened up at minus 140, 143. So it has moved a little bit. But like I said, the smart money is backing them. I can't bet against Alcantara. And Colorado has one of the worst bullpens in baseball. So Miami actually has one of the better ones. So if this game gets into the bullpen, it could favor Miami all the way. Texas and Oakland, I think this game, like when you look at it, like minus 300 for Oakland. But they're basically telling you Oakland has no chance to lose.
Yeah, well, and they're the better team. They're at home, and they got a big-time favorite pitching matchup here with Chris Bassett versus Mike Fultonitz. ERA of 3 versus ERA of 6. So, yeah, it is a big-time one, but you can't really do much with this. This is when you can do one of your parlays like you did yesterday, and that's about it. But you're paying.
Maybe throw them with Houston, and let's see who else I might throw them with. That's probably about it so far. Houston, and
I maybe go with these last 3 games here.
Throw them with Houston, Oakland, and then San Diego is another game that I can't play because you got. I mean, all the advantages are for Oakland. Absolutely, they were a home team. They're a better home than Texas is probably anywhere. They're better in terms of scoring runs than Texas is, particularly at home versus on the road. They got the pitching matchup. But minus 300, I think the minus 1.5, the run line is like minus 145. Yeah, you could take teams just to win and get better lines than that today. So, yeah. Arizona and San Diego, another one, minus 220, negative run line. I can't bet this game matchup with lefties. Well, San Diego's kind of been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I would expect them to win now, but there's nowhere you can really go here with the money line. And, giving up a 1.5 is only minus 110, but because of them struggling a little bit, Tatis is still out. I don't want to touch that. You could do the whole parlay thing, like I said, add them to that.
So go ahead and look that up right now. Look up if you put in Houston, you put in Oakland, San Diego, and the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are the next game. They're at home. Lefty against lefty. I mean, it's lefty versus lefty night for sure.
So we're going with 4 of them?
4 of them. Okay. We're going to go with Houston, Oakland, San Diego, and the Dodgers.
Okay.
So the Dodgers are minus 200, it looks like. You can get as low as minus 195. And the money is backing. As you can imagine, the Dodgers are 80 cents on the dollar, 57% of the tickets. Athletics are taking 95 cents on the dollar. So, I mean, the money is backing these teams really hard. Looking at Vegas, Vegas is making you pay up tremendously for both in terms of the premiums you got to pay. I don't see – I mean, yesterday – I didn't see how those 3 teams would lose. Today, I'm not sure if any of these 4 teams are going to lose.
So, and it's not bad. It's plus 323.
Plus 323. All right, Sean. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take that 4-teamer, and I'm going to put I'm only going to put $10 on it. So, I mean, it won't hurt me too badly if it loses. Hopefully, I catch my other 2 games I catch. I mean, it's going to be hard as hell to pick 6 games in Major League Baseball and hit them all.
Yeah. So what I'll do. Yeah. Well, I have my 4 picks. I'm not, but I would trust it more the other way. I would take Houston out of it, and I would go Oakland, San Diego, LA. But you're only getting plus 182.
No, I'm putting Houston in there because I think that they're going to smoke them today.
Yeah, well,
that's my.
That provided a lot of the value. I mean, you're getting a plus. What did I say? Plus 3 something. Well, plus 323.
Plus 323. So mark that down for $10. Plus 323, $10 on the 4-team parlay. Make sure you tweet it out today. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I put it on Facebook. Somehow it didn't make Twitter. But
well, it happens sometimes.
If that's what it takes for you to hit, then we'll just keep doing that.
Maybe we're banned. We've been canceled by @Jack Dorsey for saying something about COVID. Apparently, maybe I don't know. Something that's true about COVID that you can't talk about, right? Because I don't know. I saw some people were posting like actual things from like the Pfizer documents for the shots, and people were being banned for false and misleading information. It's the actual thing from the shot. How can it be false and misleading? Anyway. We're just serfs in their world. What can I say? So make sure you, Sean, tell folks how they can follow us
on Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen. And I know you plugged DraftKings earlier. I will say they now have same game parlays, right? Like FanDuel. They just announced that, and you can get a $10 free play on your first play for that. So I'll definitely
do that today. Can you do that? I might.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, and I think I might have to update my app because you got to update the app to get the same game parlay. But yeah. They'll give you $10 once you opt in. You can try it out. They have it now like FanDuel does. So I always enjoy the same game parlays you can do. Baseball's a little more difficult than basketball. I like the basketball ones. But baseball, you can go in, get a winner, get the over-under, a couple hits, homers, whatever you want to add, whatever you feel safe with.
Is there like a minimum number of picks that you have to have? Can you go with 2 or has it got to be more?
Only 2. You only need 2.
I see. All right. Is there any particular one that you like as a suggestion today?
No, I didn't really get to dive deep into it.
What's Carlos Carrera home run tonight in Minnesota?
Let me check that out. I will say the other day I had the guy for the Reds, Jonathan Indy. I went over 1.5 bases. Maybe I'll start getting more into the baseball player props like I do the basketball ones. So player props. What are we doing? Home run?
Yeah, home run for Carlos Carrera tonight.
Carlos Carrera.
He's probably on the injured reserve or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. Plus 300.
Plus 300? All right. I mean, maybe I'll go with Houston, the over, and Carlos Carrera in my account. I'm not making it official, but that would probably pay fairly well if I got it. And if it's $10 for free, what the heck, right?
Yeah, and they're fun to do. They definitely are. Usually it's more fun if you either have the package to watch the game or it's on ESPN or wherever you want to watch it. But definitely pick one of those games and just pick a few things and watch the game.
Let it rip.
Yeah, it's like fantasy. Everybody likes the fantasy sports. It's kind of what it is.
Sort of like that for sure. All right, Sean. Well, that wraps up another day. Tomorrow we'll be back, unfortunately, way too early in the morning. We'll talk a little bit about baseball again. We're just a couple of weeks away from college football, pro football. That'll be fun. I know yesterday you wanted to play the under. I'm not going to touch any of this preseason nonsense because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen in the regular season, but at least you know you're going to get the starters from beginning to end for the most part. And it's a little bit more predictable 49% of the time, maybe.
But we were all over it. I said about the under, and you said that Pittsburgh should pretty much smoke Dallas, and they did.
Yeah, because I felt like from what I read online, the Cowboys were going to kind of hold back because they're going to go to some week-long thing with the Rams. And then the Pittsburgh, their offensive line is kind of young, so they were going to let it play a little bit longer. And you figured that the better offensive line against the second and third team players would eventually take over, and that's what happened in the second half. I don't know. We'll find out how that plays out during the regular season. I look forward to the regular season, Sean. I don't look forward to tomorrow, 6 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you head on over to Horse Racing Radar, our sponsor. They have some contests tomorrow at Saratoga, $100 for free. I'll be making live commentary on every race, telling you who I like, why I like them, and then you'll know exactly who not to play. And then from there, Sunday they have a contest as well. Sean will be monitoring that one. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Sean, anything else you want to add before we roll?
No, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow morning. You said 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, 7 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know. It's, whatever it is, it's too early. I got to get up at 6, so a little bit before 6. So
it's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central.
7 o'clock Central. So if you're out on the West Coast, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Get up. All right, Sean.
College football is 3 weeks away at this point. Tomorrow, so counting down the days now. I'm definitely looking at that schedule. I'm going to start researching more of that too, and be prepared.
I got a really good trick that I'm going to kind of teach you. I'm not going to give away all the secret sauce, but there's a nice way that you can catch overs in college football, and it's really, really, it works a lot. So I'll kind of let you know when those plays come up. I'll drop some hints. You're going to have to connect the dots to figure out how to put it together, because I can't give away the secret sauce, but it's highly, highly effective in picking overs in the college football game. We'll be back tomorrow, as we mentioned, Sean. Until then, of course, everybody, may all of your tickets be winners.